Right? So our cultural thought leaders have now embedded the COVID lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's an actual lifestyle. Right? You're a good person if you believe in the innate power of COVID. So, those of us who are actually religious, we talk about two aspects of worship of God. Okay? If you're a Jew, there are two things particularly you talk about when it comes to attitude toward God. There's yiras shamayim, which is fear of God, and then there is ahavas shamayim, right? Then there's love of God. Shamayim in this case being sort of shamayim means heaven literally, but we use it as a stand-in for God's name. So there's fear of God and there's love of God. And as a religious person, you're supposed to have both. You're supposed to fear God's justice, because if God ever implemented his justice with you, you would surely be screwed. And you're supposed to love God because God has given you all that you have and constructed a universe that is made for man, right? This is the basic idea of fear of God and love of God. Well, the paganistic secularists, when it comes to COVID, they have fear of COVID and love of COVID. They have a bizarre fear of COVID. They believe that only by attempting sort of paganistic sacrifices, if they wear the mask, and if they dictate that you wear the mask, if they offer their children up on Mount Moriah as sacrifices to COVID, mask up the 5-year-old and make sure that this kid does not go to this kid cannot go to Aladdin unless this kid is double, triple, quadruple, octuple vaxxed, then this will somehow prevent the wrath of COVID, right? Fear of COVID. And then there's love of COVID. These people love it. They love it. COVID has constructed an alternative universe where they get to do whatever they want, where they get to dictate all the terms of engagement, where people have been more willing to give up power to government than any time in American history. People are just willing to, they're throwing power at government, especially in the blue states. Okay, fine, you want to mask us? Please mask us. Please, master, mask us. Please do it. Please just do it. Please tell us what jobs we can and cannot work. Please tell us whether we can open our business or whether we can't open our business. And if we fear COVID and we love COVID enough, it will usher in a new kingdom of COVID glory upon earth, where we build back better, where we wreck all the institutions, where we get rid of logic, where we get rid of data, and we live solely on faith. We live as one in faith with COVID. That is the attitude. And that's why you end up with idiotic pieces of culture like Jimmy Fallon cutting songs for Christmas with Ariana Grande and Megan the Stallion. Her middle name is The. I'll never get over this. It's Megan the Stallion, which I assume was not her given name, but Megan the, not the Stallion, which would make some sense because then she would be the Stallion. Megan the Stallion, you, my friend, are the Stallion because it's Thee. Megan the Stallion with Ariana Grande singing with Jimmy Fallon, who's aging like a bad piece of cheese over here. I gotta say, I remember when Jimmy Fallon was young, and he's now reaching the age where this is just kind of creepy and odd and sort of yucky. Here he is singing a song with Ariana Grande and Megan the Stallion about masking up for Christmas. And here's the thing. They're playing it as parody, but they're actually kind of comfortable with it. They kind of love it. They're kind of into it because this means that they are the elite. They get to dictate to you what sort of sacrifices you should perform. Sure, Christmas is supposed to be a time for Christians where you celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, but for Jimmy Fallon and Ariana Grande and Megan the Stallion, all of whom are definitely, I would say, excellent advocates on behalf of traditional Christian worldview, what Christmas is truly about is COVID masks and shots and sitting by the fire wearing odd accoutrements.
This Christmas, I'ma make it count. No more quarantine on the couch. This year, hang that mistletoe.
Her fingernails are syringes, in case you can't see. And now you have a person twerking while wearing paper towels, and they're spraying everything with hand sanitizer.
Somebody wipe Rudolph's nose. Hey, I promise we'll be okay.
I promise we'll be okay. And then this creepy thing of Jimmy Fallon wearing a mask with Ariana Grande's face on it, and the same thing with her. We'll be in line for a booster. Here's the thing. It's obviously, look, he's trying to be funny, and Jimmy Fallon hasn't been funny for quite a while here, but it is pretty amazing. Megan says, this year, hang that mistletoe. I'm going to kiss everybody that I know. And, but it was a masked Christmas. We stayed in the house. We covered our nose and covered our mouth. But now that boosters are available, then they can party it up. Until they can't, of course. Because according to Dr. Anthony Fauci, by the way, even if you're fully boosted, you should still mask up when you are in the presence of others. In fact, there's an entire article in The Atlantic. It is titled, How to Socialize Safely in the Booster Era. Okay, so I have a recommendation as to how to socialize safety in the booster era. Get a booster or don't, and then do whatever the hell you want because it's a free country and shut the f up. We're done. Wasn't that amazing? Incredible. Because the vaccines are widely available, and we have therapeutics, and Omicron is less threatening than Delta, and you're fine. Shut up. Stop. Like, enough. But we still have to hear from our masters, the high priests of COVID. And so The Atlantic says, this past spring, if someone told you they were fully vaccinated, you knew precisely what they meant. At least 2 weeks before, they'd received 2 doses of Moderna, 2 doses of Pfizer, or 1 of Johnson & Johnson. Now, what it means to be vaccinated encompasses much more variety. Some people have gotten their initial doses, but haven't gotten a booster. Some people mixed and matched the brands of their first shots and their booster. What's more, everyone is on their own personal timeline depending on when they got their shots. Amid this complexity, kids under 5 still aren't eligible for any shots at all. When trying to gauge whether a gathering will be risky, the most important variable by far continues to be whether the attendees are vaccinated. Jessica Milady Rivera, a research fellow at Boston Children's Hospital, told me she wouldn't feel safe spending time with an unvaxxed person indoors. If she saw them at all, the meetup would be outside and with masks. Outside and with masks? But she's vaxxed and probably boosted. Like, what? It's so tiresome. It's tiresome. But again, all of this makes them feel better about themselves. It makes them feel self-righteous. Just like all other virtue signaling from the left, it is all about doing irrelevant things that have no impact on the real world and then saying that your friends aren't doing it so you're better than they are. It's like composting or recycling or in a big city where they take all your recycling and they toss it into the same landfill as your garbage. They're like, oh, well, did you fully use your recyclables? Okay, guys, I'm sorry. If you're building your notion of a virtuous life around whether you are boosted and whether you're bottom line is this: until our bodies are at least 85% comprised of just the vaccine, until our body weight is 80% vaccine, we can't go back to normal. But they never want to go back to normal. This is the new normal. They love it. They love it. These people are not miserable. They are happy. They're happy in their misery. Because here's the thing. If they didn't want to live like this, they wouldn't have to. You know how I can tell that? Because we're down here in Florida and ain't none of us been living like that. Down in Florida, my family has been out and about since we were vaxxed. End of story. Enjoying life. Having a good old time. Going to synagogue with hundreds of people. And I know there are a bunch of people in blue states who are cringing right now. Oh my God. You went to synagogue with hundreds of people. Yeah, you know how many people died? Big zero. You know why? Because everybody who wanted to get vaxxed got vaxxed. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Leave other people alone. You're not a better person for trying to control other people's lives when they do not pose a risk to you. Who's got 2 thumbs and wants you to like and subscribe?